Welcome to Palma, Mallorca, where behind me is a boat that I've been looking forward to catching up with for some time. This is the Say Carbon 42. Now, Say Carbon, as the name suggests, are a pure carbon fibre built boat. It's a German brand, it's German built, and it's all about high-tech, lightweight, maximum performance, maximum efficiency. And it's a really unusual hull design too. We might get a slightly better peek at it here. But if you can see, it's a very slender, narrow hull below the waterline, and then above it, it flares out to create more deck space and more volume inside. But this is not a big, high volume day boat. It is pure performance and efficiency. First of all, I just wanted to show you a bit about the hull, because this now uses something called a peat step hull design. And unlike a conventional hull, which has parallel spray rails, you can probably see from this little model that it has these fan-shaped rails that spray out from the side. And the idea is that they trap the spray within the hull and create a kind of cushion on which it rides. And that makes it a faster ride, because it actually helps make it more efficient, and it almost pushes the boat along a little bit. So it's around about 10% faster, more efficient, and it also gets a slightly softer ride because of that high pressure spray underneath it actually helps cushion it in the landings. So that's the idea, and I'm hoping at some point we may get a chance to sea trial one, but for the moment, let's just have a look around this yacht. Now, really big fixed bathing platform at the back. It's fixed again because a drop-down hydraulic one would just add a whole load of weight. And this is all about saving weight. So this 42-foot boat only weighs 4.5 tons, which is approximately half most day boats of that kind of size. So really significant weight saving. But if you start adding hydraulic platforms and things, that kills the whole idea. So it uses a carbon fibre sandwich foam construction. So it's super stiff, super light, but being a sandwich construction, it doesn't have that really stiff, noisy, unforgiving feel to it. Yes, it's stiff, but it helps dampen out any of the noise that you might otherwise get. So really big sun pad on the stern here, 3 big cushions, lots of space to spread out. So if I press this switch, which you'll see just under here, see there's a little switch there, the sun pad cushions start to lift up and reveal what is underneath here. So quite unusually for a boat this size, it's powered by petrol engines, and that's for 2 reasons. So first of all, there is really smooth, clean power delivery. It's very quick accelerating. It's a very light boat. There's no turbos or any complications. And also the block itself is physically much smaller and lighter. To get the same amount of power from a diesel engine, you need a Volvo D6 440, which is physically a much bigger, heavier engine. It also uses a lot more oil. It has about 22 litres in the sump compared to these, which I think are only around 6 litres or so. So in fact, in terms of recycling, that's a whole lot of oil you don't have to buy and throw away each year. So very nice, clean, smooth running, powerful engines, very simple. And also, because the boat is so light, it's really efficient. So at 20 knots, this is burning just 45 litres an hour, and yet it will give you flat out performance of up to 50 knots. Now, there's a big carbon fibre bin here. Like I said, everything on this boat that you can see that's moulded is made of carbon fibre rather than plain vinyl ester resin. We've got a big bin here for a sea bob, so an electric sea bob lives in that locker there, and this one is room for all the fenders, life rafts, all of that kit. You could have pump up paddle boards, inflatable paddle boards, any of that kit in there. And underneath this seat here, there is also some additional storage, which if I can just have a bit of a hand, it's probably a 2-handed job. You can see there's another big storage locker under here. At the moment, we've just got hoses and so on in here, But the idea is that you can have a Naughty Boy inflatable platform that you can use off the end of the boat, and that becomes an extension to the bathing platform. You can have your sea bobs and a lovely kind of inflatable cushion on the sea, but that is all designed to store perfectly in there, and there's even a built-in inflator for it. So thank you very much. We'll just lower that down. And you can see even the table itself is made of carbon fibre. So beautiful mixture of carbon fibre with teak decking on it. Got high-low supports for the table, and that is because this whole thing will sink down, and these cushions fold out over the top of it. You can have another big sun pad here. And you'll notice there is a little cutout here in both of the cushions, and that's so that when they fold over on top of this table, you still get the lovely carbon fibre ice bucket to keep your champagne cold. Very important detailing. Now, look at the lovely detailing around here. I told you the whole thing is made of carbon fibre, other than obvious sort of stainless steel inserts and so on. But look at this, absolutely perfectly lacquered carbon fibre. Wherever they can, they try and keep it on display so that you can admire it. There's some really big mouldings here. So the person who owns the company now, a chap called Carl Wagner, he used to run a company called Carbatech, making carbon fibre chassis for McLaren supercars and F1 componentry. And he then sold that and bought this business and is developing this into the kind of supercar of the seas. And again, using that high-tech, lightweight carbon fibre to do that. So beautiful radar arch here. And you can get a full T-top. We might even be able to see a T-top model a little bit later on. We've got a small sink, again, with a carbon fibre top. We've got a fridge underneath. And check out these Helm chairs. These are some of the coolest Helm chairs I think I've ever seen. They're Shockwave full suspension seats, carbon fibre bucket mouldings, lovely thin padding, again, all important to keep them as light as possible. We've got bolster supports. They slide backwards and forwards. They go up and down. They are super cool, just like a pair of seats from a race car. And even the helm itself, check out the helm. Look at that, it looks like a kind of dragster style wheel with this really deep set hub in the middle, 3 spokes coming out towards you, and very cool, clean dashboard display. So here are the Volvo controls. Those petrol engines are on stern drive, so it's completely standard Volvo controls. You've got all the trim assist, so automatic trimming of the stern drives. You can have single lever control, you can hold station, and again, you can have full joystick control of it too. So in docking mode, when you come alongside, you can put it in docking mode and park the boat using the joystick. You can even twist it on the spot. So really quick, but also surprisingly easy to helm. You've got steps up here onto the foredeck. Just give you a quick look up here. And you can see this is where the deck really spreads out. So even though you've got that very slender, efficient hull shape, you've got a big, beamy deck space up here. No guardrails that would spoil the looks. But what you do get is a really big deck. And because it's so flat and so wide, it's actually not that unnerving to walk up here. Obviously, we're in a marina, which helps, but it's not nearly as awkward to negotiate as you might think, not having any of those guardrails. And very, very clean design. You can see that this actually lets light down into the cabin below. There is an emergency hatch there too. We've got the access to the fuel and water tank on either side. We've got pop-up cleats all the way along, lots of them in fact. 1, 2, 3 along this side, and then a 4th right on the bow here. And under here is the anchoring mechanism. Hopefully we can show you a bit more about how that works in a minute. But let's come back down here for the moment. Oh no, let's go back this way. Oh, let's step back down there. You can go all the way back if you want to, but we're going to shortcut it through here. See, there is wireless charging for your phone underneath there, and a Sleipner bow thruster. A couple of small glove box compartments, if you like, for storing phones or sunglasses, sun cream, whatever you want. And look at that view from the helm. I mean, that is a mighty cool looking boat. Very low level windscreen. You can sit down here, get under the airflow, or you can use that bolster stand up and look over that long, flat foredeck. And this is how the carbon fibre, you see how beautifully that's moulded into a perfect arc to come and meet the windscreen. Very cool. You've got the boat overview system here, so access to all the bilge pumps, anchor system, swim ladder. There is a hydraulic swim ladder that pops out the back, all the tanks. And over here, this one's set up to show all the engine monitoring system, speed, performance, etc. Got storage either side along here, built-in speakers, and a bit more storage. And in order to get down into the cabin, you press this little latch here. There is a rocker switch in there. If I hold that down, you'll see that the door starts to fold down. And as it folds down, it actually becomes the steps down into the cabin. How cool is that for an entrance? And if we drop down into the cabin, do have to duck a little bit. It's a relatively low drop down into it. And there you are in the cabin area. So although this is primarily set up as a day boat, it is in fact a perfectly usable weekender. You've got a really big bed right forward in this bow section. You can see there's lots of storage all around it. All, of course, with these tiny, thin, absolute featherweight carbon fibre doors to them, but there is storage all the way around the bed. I think there's also storage alongside the bed. You've got one relatively small hull window on this side, but that's you can see where the actual side of the hull flares out, and that's what creates that extra volume in here. Otherwise, this is the main sort of hull section that goes under the water, and then it flares out above it. And then there's a bigger window over on this side, letting more light in. And we've actually got really long deck hatches overhead. So you can see there's lots of natural light coming in overhead too, and a little access hatch so you can open it in, let some fresh air in, but it's also fully air conditioned. There's a fridge underneath the bed here. So you've got cool drinks on tap. And then a day heads area in here, which is actually a very good size, because quite rightly, you're much more likely to be using it as a day boat than a weekender, although it is perfectly serviceable as an overnighter or a weekender if you want. So another nice hull window there, more light filtering down from this frosted glass overhead, very modern sink, glass sink and tap, good size loo, full standing headroom in here, really nice to see that. And actually, behind the door, there is a shower too. So it is a completely serviceable bathroom. You'd happily spend a weekend on board there if you wanted to. And then under here, in fact, I might see if I can, no, I'm not quite sure where the switches to put this is, but if you close this hatch back up, there is then access to a large storage area under here. You can see you can fit sort of life raft or paddle boards, or in fact, I believe you can put a mattress in there if you really want a couple of extra berths for kids or something. They could sleep down there. So let's come back out on deck for one final look. So you can see some of the boats in action here. They do a 29-footer, this is the 42-footer, and they are developing a 52-footer as well, but very cool looking craft. Get a little bit of a flavour of what they're all about. Look at that. That is this is one of the boats we're on. You can see that big flared bow area. Really cool looking things. But let's finish up sitting in one of these sort of co-pilot's chairs, also almost. There's the one either side of this radar arch behind the two helm seats, getting a fantastic view, but still the shelter of that windscreen in front of us. I think it's an absolutely fascinating boat. I'd love to hear what you think about it. It's clearly not your average day boat. It's a really focused driver's machine, giving you driving thrills, but also the knowledge that you're running a much more efficient and arguably more environmentally friendly boat. So let me know what you think about it. Love to hear your thoughts. I hope you've enjoyed watching this. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to catching you on the next one.